and welcome back to another episode of Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Larter HD, and this week, what we found off the shelf was...
Death isn't done with us.
Nobody has control over life and death, unless they are taking lives and causing death.
I won't let this happen. What are you, God now? It's gonna blow up.
Final Destination, released in 2000, directed by James Wong in his feature-length theatrical directorial debut. Also, you may know him for one of the greatest films ever made, Dragon Ball Evolution. This film is a supernatural mystery horror film, starring Devon, Sawa, Ari Larter, Seann William Scott, Kerr Smith, Tony Todd, who made a quick little cameo. Who was only in one scene. He did a good job, though, because obviously it's fucking Tony Todd. But I will say, this is the beat. Well, actually, this is not the first five. This is the five ones. The actual. It's one of these. I don't know. But this film, I am mainly watching this Final Destination film because a new one's coming out. And how long? I don't know. I feel like it's been a long time since the last Final Destination film. So cool. We got a new one. And I will say, though, I think this is a pretty strong start. I think the premise is great. So essentially, this guy, he sees a vision of, like, the future, where, where this plane that they're gonna go on to go to Paris blows up and everybody dies. So he freaks out and he leaves the plane, but then he drags 6 other people out with him, basically, and they all survive, but everybody else in the plane dies. But they were supposed to be on the plane when it happened. They were supposed to die, but they didn't, right? And the whole film was about cheating death and how, death is like this kind of force of nature, right? How it's kind of like a hunter, really. Like, death gets really mad when you cheat it, right? So then it just relentlessly hunts you down until you actually die, right? And that's the premise of every Final Destination movie. With actually the deaths in this movie, while there were some that were pretty gory and stuff, they were pretty tame, especially for some of the later kills that I've seen in the franchise. They go really nuts with it and make people very paranoid about normal everyday things. Nobody is ever going to want to go behind a log truck after one of those Final Destination movies. But I do think, though, that from the deaths I've seen in other Final Destination movies, this one seems rather tame, which is not a bad thing, right? I do think, though, that I do like how it's kind of tame, because it makes it seem like this stuff could maybe happen as an accident, maybe, right? Like, some of it seems a little, situational, obviously, death is trying to kill them, so obviously some of it seems kind of ridiculous, and, just just piling shit on top of each other to just make sure that this person is dead, right? Like, one of their teachers survives, and she's in her house. And actually, Alex, the main character, or Devon, he tries to save her, pretty much, by going and warning her that she's next. 2 people had died previously, and she was next on the list, right? It was going in order of how they should have died in the actual, crash. But she called the cops on him and arrested him because he was being kind of suspicious. He was, walking up to her house at, the dead of night, inspecting her car. Right? So, obviously that's a little suspicious, right? And people thought that he had something to do with the deaths when really he didn't. He was just trying to warn people, and obviously he was, really getting the ire of the cops and other people. So basically what happens is there's a cascade of events. This is probably the most ridiculous kill in the movie, aside from Billy, who I'll get into in a little bit. In this movie, she essentially, her cup cracks because she put hot coffee in it, and it was too hot, I suppose. So she pours it out, and then she puts in like ice cold vodka, right? But obviously, since it was hot and then right to cold, it cracked, right? Because obviously, she wasn't being careful, you know. And then she doesn't notice, I guess, that she's leaving a trail of dripping vodka from her mug. And then it drips over her computer, which, again, she doesn't notice at first somehow. And then it drips through her computer and obviously hot wires, like it fucks it up, it makes it spark. And when she hears her computer sparking, usually if you hear your computer sparking, I feel like you should maybe back off a little bit. Maybe you should not go like inspect it, just shove your face into the glass, and of course it explodes. It explodes in a shard of computer glass from the monitor, shoots into her neck, and then she's bleeding all over the place. And then that's not it, by the way. Then that's not it. Her house sets on fire because of the gasoline-laced vodka that she was drinking. And then she falls, she trips, and I don't know what she was trying to do. So earlier in the scene, she put a towel or a rag over a thing of knives, over a knife board, right? And then, for some reason, she tries to reach for it. And then when she gets it, she stabs herself with a knife. And then Alex comes in and he tries to help her. And then just a chair just falls on top of the knife and digs it deeper. It's ridiculous. Just one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. And then she explodes. And then the entire house explodes. If you couldn't add any, way to make her less recognizable, there you go. But it's really funny. But it's also weird because Alex is really dumb in that scene. Because he got arrested by the cops literally right before that scene, and they just let him out. And his first instinct, even though the cops were probably going to trail him, since, obviously he's a suspect, right? Everyone's a suspect. No, they're not. It's just him. But, he, instead of, maybe laying low for a little bit, hiding out, he goes to her house, even though he knows she's going to die, right? He knows that she is going to die, and the cops are on his tail. They think that he has something to do with the murders the deaths, but he doesn't, right? But he's not really helping his case here, because he goes to her house, and he sees her, the house is on fire, she's all stabbed up and dead, dying, and then, instead of, and then obviously his footprints are all over the floor, because he walks over the blood, and then, for some reason, I do not know why he did this. Maybe leave it down in the comments, explain to me why he did this. He took when she died, after the chair fell on her and she, died, he took the knife out. He's like, shh. Why? Are you trying to set yourself up? Not only did you put your footprints all over her house, you put your fingerprints on the knife. Why? Why did you do that? I feel like they were just making him stupid to, add conflict, but they didn't really do a lot with it, because I thought maybe, then there would have been, a big standoff with the police, but there really wasn't. Yeah, he got chased by the police, but, they knew about as little as we did, well, as the others did. We knew what was going on, but pretty much all the bystanders didn't know what was going on. The cops didn't really know what was going on either. They just had a faint idea that he was, killing people, and, he's just being stupid. He's just being stupid. It's dumb, right? It was probably the dumbest scene in the movie. But I do think the ending makes up for it. I really like the ending, and where, it seems like a happy ending. They finally go to Paris for some reason. They're back on a plane. They go back on a plane, and it's yeah, that's a great idea. But he goes there, right? They go to Paris, and they finally go, and then they're talking about how, they have a whole life left to live, And then Carter, a guy that he saved earlier on in the movie, who was a part of the group that survived the plane crash, or the plane explosion, or whatever the fuck. And he's like, you're next. If he's coming for us, you're next. I'm the safest motherfucker here, right? And then, again, Death comes back and tries to kill them 6 months later. Right? and then Alex almost gets hit by a bus, but Carter saves him, right? But that means that he lives, and it skips to the next person, right? So then he's on the floor, and he's like, you're not dead. Well, it skipped to somebody. He's like, I'm not next. It skipped to someone. And then, like, they just start, like, scrambling. They're kind of confused. And then Carter goes, well, then who's next? And then the fucking billboard just goes, just, like, swoops in. It doesn't show it. But, yeah, it cuts to black, right? It just ends. That's the end of the movie. It cuts before the billboard hits him. But he's probably dead. Just rough. He's probably dead. So... yeah, so the alternate ending sucked. It was too happy. I'm not gonna, like, get into it here, but, like, she has, you know, Clear. I thought her name was Claire the whole movie, and her name was actually fucking Clear. Clear, was it Rivers? Clear Rivers. That's the most hippie name I've ever heard. And, yeah, she has, like, Alex's kid. She names him after Alex, and then, they, like, go to, like, a memorial for all the people that died in the movie. But it's also, like, why would they make, like, a memorial for these people? All they know, these aren't connected. For all they know, like, these are all just completely separate, like, tragedies, I guess. I mean, we're all in one thing. They all died, like, days later. You know what I mean? Like, why would you put a memorial? I mean, yeah, they survived a plane crash, but it's like, we're making the memorial for the dead survivors of a plane crash. I don't know, it just seems kind of weird. And then she's like, it's too happy-go-lucky, because then they're like, oh, one day Death will get us. Like, nah, not one day. Show me that shit. Death should be relentless, because he is relentless. In this movie, they show the entire film, Death is pissed that these people survived when they weren't supposed to, right? And he's just relentlessly trying to kill them throughout the entire movie. Why would he just stop? Why would he stop? Why would he let them have a kid? That kid's not supposed to exist. They didn't follow his design. So he should just not stop until he finally kills them, right? I mean, he could give them a break. It's like Judgment Day. You can only postpone it, right? You can't stop it. You know what I mean? You can't stop it. That's the whole point of the movie, is that you can't cheat death. That's what the ending, the new ending, the better ending, says, is that you can't cheat death. And that's the point of the movie, is that you can't beat nature, pretty much. They think they can, but they can't, right? Who's to say death just won't stop until they die of natural causes? Who's to say they have to do this for the rest of their life? Death will just non-stop try to kill them for the rest of their life, right? Will there be a point in their life where they're just like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? Death is waiting for his perfect moment. And that's what I like about it. He's bloodthirsty, because he's death. He should be bloodthirsty. He shouldn't just stop because they skipped over them. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Death should kill you. Well, he doesn't really kill you. Like, it's like, well, he kind of does. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know. I'm just going off on a tangent here. But I like this movie. You know, I thought it was fun. It was entertaining. It was a good time. And I would recommend it. You know, if you're a fan of James Wong and his impeccable Dragon Ball Evolution filmography. I'm just saying, I can't get over that this guy made Dragon Ball Evolution. But this, no shade to James Wong, by the way. This is just all, this is all I jest. But, this movie, I thought was a good time, and I think you could get enjoyment out of it if, you know, you're a fan of, like, this is kind of a disaster movie, kind of. Like, obviously, like, the plane explodes at the beginning, and then it's just, like, a series of unfortunate events throughout the entire time. Like, circumstances trying to kill them. It's a very good movie in that I do think it's, like, it also builds the mystery of, you know, death and all that. I do like that. And I do think you can get some enjoyment out of the film. So if you haven't seen it already, and if you're interested in seeing the new Final Destination movie coming out this year, you should start probably pretty soon, because it comes out in May. But, I think I would rate this film a 7 out of 10. And, yeah. I think I've said what I need to say. I think I've said my piece. So, guys, I hope you like this video. Share with friends, subscribe, turn notifications on, comment on how much you liked it. And I've been Running Time HD. off to cheat death. And it's like, I remember, like, in the movie, there's multiple occasions where, like, there's a character going, I'm gonna live forever, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm doing so good, I'm gonna do my life, I'm gonna do all that. And then they die immediately afterwards. Like, there's a scene, he doesn't, like, exactly say that, but he says essentially, Billy, who is played by Seann William Scott. Anyway, Seann William Scott, he's like, you're next, Carter. We need to stay away from you. You're a danger to all of us. You're gonna die, and then we're gonna die. And then, like, he just keeps going on and on and on and on. And then a fucking piece of metal that's underneath the train just shoots out and fucking half decapitates him. Like, his bottom jaw is still here, but, like, the top of his head gets chopped off. It's pretty good, right? I'd say it was probably, like effects-wise, the goriest kill in the movie. Which is nice, right? And then Carter, at the end of the movie, he's basically, you know what? I'm gonna live forever. You guys are fucked. They skipped me. I'm good, right? And then he dies. Presumably. We don't know for sure, 100%. But probably. He's probably dead. Probably. But it's funny, because he gloats. And you don't gloat to death. You don't gloat to death, because he doesn't like that. And also probably because you're not going to live forever. Not unless you're a jellyfish. Or, like, I think lobsters live a long time.